All right, good day, guys. I hope we all good. We're now plugged in Tuesday live analysis. All right, so we're just gonna start with C1. We managed to catch this yesterday, and later on, I managed to catch this. It's basically the same pattern, which is so same TPs. So today I'm still bearish. I'm still bearish. Let's just check how the weekly is going. Okay, so you can see our points of interest, which we marked from yesterday. I was actually anticipating price to come a little bit higher, but it didn't. There's still room, though, that they might want to push up into all these red zones we have here. That's possible, but at the same time, we can get a sudden fall based on this price action we have here, especially with how yesterday's daily candle closed. That rejection of the 13 EMA here. So we could get a sudden fall here. That's a possible play. Or price can actually decide to do this. They can be bearish today, but then we might get an up move, still going back into any of these red zones here before we actually continue to have the sell. So those are just possible plays which we have in hindsight. So once we know what could happen, price can go either way. So let's see what we are leaning on for today. Okay, this is the 4 hour. You can see we had a rejection of the 50 EMA, which could be a possible sign that we could actually be dropping. You can see I had this zone marked. So price rate broke, retested, pushed up, retested, then came back below, and it looks like they're now rejecting that zone now, going to the downside. So already now I've got a sell bias short term. Right, so let's just check how H3 is looking like. Okay, we could potentially melt here. We could potentially melt. So let's have one position open at a CMP. Okay, so looking at H3 again, this could be head and shoulder pattern forming. That's another possibility. But here for the past 3, 6, 9, 12 hours, about for the past 13 hours, 12 to 13 hours, price sort of slowed down here. But since we're below the 50 EMA, I feel like we've got cells in motion. So hence I've got a runner open. That's the reason we opened that cell. So let's check the 2 hour. Okay, price clearly broke a structure here, retested something, or in the process of retesting something. So if you notice, as we drop down, there's a zone I marked earlier. When I looked at the charts, I think we'll only be able to see it when we get to M15. Okay, so I looked at these two previous highs here. I was like, okay, my price is coming up now. They might want to come bounce off that same zone before we get a sell. So I would say I'm bearish. Price can still come into this gray zone before selling, or slightly above, anyway, in here or on the 800 EMA. Those are all possible areas where price can get to. So if we could get a move taking out this low, I think we can take profit on the current runner, then wait for price to actually come and do some form of stop hunt here or liquidity grabs. before we actually take another sell. That's how I'm viewing it at the moment. So I think for C1, that's it. Points of interest, I'm sure you can see the values are clear there. This is M15. You can just mark this on your charts, then wait to see what price does. Okay, so let's go to C500. C500 is approaching a zone. I actually marks this gray zone a few minutes ago. So I was like, okay, what's happening here? Price looks like it's taken out all the liquidity above these areas, right? So intraday we are bullish. So what are we trading? We are trading a retracement. So this will be short-term trade, targeting anywhere from 20 to 30 pips. Right now, we're actually active in looking for an entry. Let me just check how the daily is looking though. Okay, daily can potentially be coming for this 13 EMA. Okay, all right. So it's the low of this day, which is just stretched out, which might be in line with a 13 EMA on the daily. So that's 32, let's say 60. Okay, 32.60. So gray zone price might break it. Let's rather focus on 32.60. 32.60 for a potential short-term sell. So it's this low here. We've got a supply zone there. So 32.60, it could actually be a zone where price might hit before coming down here. Remember yesterday we were saying this level might be challenged, price might still come to create a pattern. So that would also play out. But for now, we can expect a retracement to this up move anyway around 32.60. That's our point of interest. So we'll just see. Okay. Just seeing this pattern, I think might have seen it before. We could get spikes. Let's see. We might get 20 pips retracement, but nah, rather not. Rather be safe. Let's rather wait for 34.60, 34.60. 34.60. Which is just above the 800 EMA. So just take note. So we are currently bullish intraday. You can see we're creating higher highs. We're actually creating a high for the high for today. So we'll either be trading a retracement or a reversal, right? So let's see. But this is our point of interest. We'll see what price does around that area. C300 daily chart today has been bearish after about 4 days of choppiness. So let's see if we can get something here. That looks like a supply zone, so that's a possible area to sell from. Around 42.35 to 42.90. Anyway, in this area, I feel like we can potentially get some sales. Right, so let's talk C 300. So you can see all these markings were not working because the price was sort of choppy past couple of days. So let's move these. Okay, so we've got a point of interest here, the zone. Let's see if price will get in there. Anyway, here we can get a possible sell, even if it's short term for C 300. If a setup is going to give us 50, you can see a move like this from here to here will give us 50 points. So anything which gives you 50 points or 50 pips to 100 on C300 is worth taking. So if you get a reaction here, we'll take the trade. If they decide to come deep into the zone, maybe come back up here to the gray area, we'll still take a sell. But again, they can still come all the way back up here. That's another point of interest for today. So that's how I'm looking at C300. I would love them to come interact with this area, or this area. Anything in between, if there is a valid pattern which will be leaning on sells, then we'll still be able to take the sell. So those signals will be updated in the group. B1, yesterday it came to our zone and it played out. So today, what do we have today? Okay, this type of candlestick pattern, I've seen price come usually down after such a candle. So I don't think I would love to lean much on buys. We might buy, but okay, let me put it like this. If we come back above this red line, I'll be looking for buys back to these highs. Okay, I'll be looking for buys back to that high, which will be about 70 pips. It's a 70 pip move, so I would only want to catch 50 pips of that move. So if we come back above the red line, I'll take a buy. Maybe price wants to give us a triple top. First, second, maybe the third will slightly pass it before we start to get that reversal, which I see forming from the daily chart. So yeah, we should be hot on the heels of the 1000. The price point is of that red line is 13,812. 13,812. So if we come and we show signs of closing with momentum, I'll take the buy for a 50 pip target. Right. So just to explain the pips again while I'm here, if you're trading boom or boom and crash, okay, okay, there it is. So if you take a trade of 0.20 lot size times 50 pips, that trade will pay you $10. Okay. If you take a trade with 0.30 times 50 pips, that trade will pay you $15. If you take a trade 0.50 times 50 pips, the trade will pay you 25. If you take a trade with one lot size, one standard lot size, times 50 pips, that trade will pay you $50. 10 lot size. This also depends like with your account size. So the bigger your accounts, the bigger the lot sizes you can open. Then the biggest lot size we can open on Boom and Crash is 50 lots times 50 points, 50 pips. So the same move, which is paying someone $10 with the smallest lot size you can open, that same move is paying someone $25. Same move is paying someone 500. Same move is paying someone 2,500. This all depends with your account size. So yeah, B1000, I would say we're about to get a reversal from my point of view at the moment. So once we pass this red line, and this is from here, right? It's not from here. Once we pass the red line, if price starts to come right now, that's when this buy will be valid. But if price comes all the way down here, we might be looking at this level here. Let me just clear this. Okay, we might be looking at this level here. So price can still come and take out liquidity just below the zone and below this area, which will be a touch on the 50 EMA. That will be a different setup on its own. This zone will now be invalid. So this will be a different setup on its own, which might be forming. So it could still, yes, be a buy if we get a nice rejection off here, but the buy will be short term. So I'll still emphasize on just targeting for just 50 points or 50 pips. That will be the best option here, or the best way based on how I'm viewing the daily chart. So that's it for B1. B5 actually came into a zone. I remember yesterday we said we're not taking any trades. You can see I was following price. I waited for them here. This became invalid. They came down and I was waiting for them here. They didn't close above. And I knew these guys are still coming down to this zone which we marked. So now the question is this now like a downtrend forming, or are we still going to get a continuation going up? We'll only know if we break the zone, right? So at the moment, what we're going to get is intraday, this is a downtrend. We're having lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower low. So where is this lower high going to form? Is it coming to form all the way up here? If yes, then we can take it buy, right? Or are they going to continue from here and come down? Maybe when they get somewhere around here, we'll still look to take a buy. So now again, we're trading a retracement to an intraday downtrend. So as long as we're creating lower lows and lower highs, we'll be looking to buy the retracements into the push down. So if we buy into the retracements, if it's B500, I would say just target for 20 pips, because this one I don't like the way it moves. Usually doesn't move much, so just target 10 to 20 pips on your retracement. As long as you've got it right, you will still be able to catch a good number of pips. So this is H1, and the good thing is we're still in a zone which we marked from a higher time frame, right? So you can see we marked this zone here. So if we get a bounce here, I'm still with the motion that this price could actually push up. From here we can still come back up here, right? But if we break a come down now, we could be in a downtrend and we'll only be buying into the retracements. But price will tell us. Just now we'll know what to actually anticipate or how to actually look for the setups. So I think that's it for B. Let's see what could happen here. Okay, for us to buy this, just notice something. For us to buy this, I would love for this price to come in close above the zone. Then I can consider a buy, even though it will still be short term, right? If we can come and get it close above, I can look to scalp a buy. Maybe they might come back to these lows, create a pattern again. If I get something here, then I'll buy back up into the zone. This price can still be continuing down. Okay, these are just all probabilities of how price might move. So if I see something, then I'll still advise in the Telegram group. J10, I remember we were saying we want to look for sales. So that price goes to the trend line. We still with that motion. So we were looking for price to trade into any of these zones which we marked right there. So price actually traded into those zones. So are we getting our sell today or are we getting our sell tomorrow? Based on how the daily candle is looking, the sell might only be confirmed by tomorrow. So we want to see how the daily candle closes, then probably sell it tomorrow or the day after, but we still need more confirmation. Although since we're anticipating a sell, if we can get a pattern right away, we can actually execute on the trade. So let's see, we've hit the 50 EMA here. There's still a pending zone here and a pending zone here. So let's see what pattern these guys give us, like maybe on each one. Let's wait for them to form. So how I would approach this is, since my bias is sales, I also want to get into the trade early if possible. So this would be my last zone before price created this peak up here, right? So I just mark out that zone. If price comes and breaks this zone and pulls back either into it, or if it breaks, pulls back up into this zone, then I'll still be looking for sales. So I'm just using it to be able to get into this trade early if possible. So I'll just mark that last low on H1 and see what happens. At the same time, you should know intraday, this is actually bullish. Intraday, we are bullish because we set our peak here, right? We've been creating higher highs, higher lows, higher high. Then price here is sort of sideways. That's why I'm sort of like saying, okay, if this is the peak, then I want to see this type of price action going all the way down to our weekly trend line, right? So that's what I'm just anticipating. But if this zone holds, then price can still be coming to our points of interest above here before it actually gives us the sell. So just keep an eye on that one. V250S. Remember yesterday, I think we were talking of sales. Then we mentioned this zone might hold price, which is what happened. Then we also spoke about price coming into a zone right here, and they did, and this was the entry, pushed all the way to the 200 EMA. That was the TP. So what's been happening, I feel like it's bullish at the moment. Let's just quickly confirm. Daily should most likely come back to these moving averages. Most likely, that's where the price is going. So we also have this Okay, so for this, let me actually work with this, the moving averages. Price is most likely to come to the moving averages. So I would be leaning on buys, right? So let me see if the smaller time frames are in line with my bias. So you can see the gray zone we marked, that's where price is heading. So any opportunity for us to buy this, I think we should actually execute on the buy. So this was the last lower high here, which is C. If you just mark it into the future, you see price broke and actually retested. So as we go down to a smaller time frame, you can see there is the break, one, two retests, and price is continuing to push up. We switch to a line chart. We want to get the next immediate zone where we can buy from. Okay, we're going to put it here. Switch back to the candles. Drop down one time frame. Okay, so that's our zone which was broken here. So we mark it out into a bigger zone. So we're just going to take the weeks like that. So for me, that's an area I would say if price comes back into this area and they give me a nameable candle. Remember, you want a candlestick, for example, yesterday's buys, we had a nice pin bar right on the zone. So anyway, in here would have been a nice place to actually buy. And they even broke here, retested on a smaller time frame, continued to push up. So it's the same thing we'll be looking for here. You want to get a nameable candlestick pattern so that you can confirm the rejection of the zone and the continuation. Otherwise, price might actually do this and come down. So you want a nameable candle right on your zone. So I think for V250, that's it. I don't have anything much. Let's see. Okay, you can see there's a candle within that zone there, which is also in line with this red line we put from a higher time frame. So that's where price can actually retrace to. So we keep an eye on this zone and see how price acts. So I think that's it from me. Okay, C500 looks to be rejecting this zone. Let's actually sell it at current market price. This is a scalp trade. This is a scalp trade. Okay, we're selling C500 is CMP 3420. I'll share that with the guys in the group. Let me actually just open some positions. Okay, we've sold C500 at current market price. We're going to open another position. The reason I'm doing so is because you can see I had a gray zone here, meaning it's an imported zone, right? And we also have the 800 EMA, and we've just taken out today's high and yesterday's high. So the retracement might actually come somewhere here. Let me measure the pips. Almost 30. So this trade should give us 20 to 30 pips. If it plays out, it should give us 20 to 30 pips. Okay, 34.21. This is the price I'm sending the signal at in the group. Live session trade selling at current market price. TP 20 to 30 pips for now. Right, we're going to go to C1. So you can see C1 is sort of not dropping from here. I still feel they might come up. So our runner will hold a loss of 20 pips. Is your runner able to hold a loss of 20 pips in order to give possibly from here price should be able to pay at least double what you are risking, right? So based on this, I would say yes, because if we start selling from there, price can potentially come to okay 61.45, 61.45. So if we are to sell from the gray zone to here, that's about 78 pips. And if we are to hold this current trade back to here, that's about 20 pips. So it's a 1:3 raised to 1. Because remember, when price gets here, we'll still enter more trades at the top here. So the risk is worth it. So we'll leave our runner there. Then we'll focus on C1. So we'll focus on C5. Saying C1. All focus is on C5. Okay, if we also break this, so how do I make this visible? If we break, so we also have this order block here. Okay, scaling in again on C5. I just use my phone for that. Okay, so if we break this order block here, that will be a breaker block. So now we'll be getting a setup like this, a break, retest, and a push down either to the 50 or to the 200, or maybe price will actually want to run all the way back to that area we have from the higher time frames. So these are all just possibilities and probabilities which you have to like create the scenarios in your mind. Like if you're the one moving price, where would you want to take it? So once you give yourself answers to that, you can anticipate price to actually play out in those scenarios. So I think that's it from me today. To follow up on the results, you can just join the Telegram group. The link should be on the description, and you'll see all the results. Everything we share, it's in a free Telegram group. But you are always advised to trade only what you see, risk only money you can afford to lose. And yeah, this is just my own personal views. You don't really have to follow the signals, but if it's helpful or if it gives you some insights, then you can make use of the information. So again, this trade we're targeting 20 to 30 pips, we should be all right. Because of time, we don't want to make this video so long. I'll end it here. So once we get a reaction here, this is a high probability sell area, but just keep in mind price will might still come to the 800 EMA. But if we start showing signs like this, then we'll cut the losses because price might still be extending the highs, going back all the way into this order block. or to yesterday's highs. So those are all possible scenarios of how price can play. But if they give us a nameable candle on a point of interest, then we should execute the trade without doubt. So, okay, B1, again, remember, once we break this red line, we are active there. B5, let's just wait on it. J10, wait on it. V2501, as wait on it. So currently our active trade is C300, C500. We'll update on the results in the Telegram group. This signal was also shared. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Good trading.